And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Glad you're able to join us this evening. Have an exciting show on tap. We'll be talking a lot of basketball, as well as starting to preview the spring sports with guest of the women's lacrosse program joining us later in the show. Do want to look ahead to what is right around the corner here immediately at the Bosch, which is a game versus Pfeiffer on the women's basketball side, 6:30 on Tuesday. So you've got a big opportunity there to see the women's basketball team in action. That's tomorrow, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. And then another home game at the Bosch, men's basketball taking on Southern Virginia. That's 2 p.m. Saturday at the Bosch. So two big home offerings this week. Tuesday, women's basketball, men's basketball on Saturday. Then the women's team this weekend will hit the road, a trip to Rocky Mount, North Carolina on Friday at NC Wesleyan, and then at Meredith on Saturday in Raleigh. Both men's and women's basketball really come down the stretch with that USA South Conference schedule. Well, spring sports are in the air as well, starting to practice, starting to get ready for those first events. And we've got a women's lacrosse scrimmage coming up this weekend, 11 a.m. on Saturday, when the Tornadoes take on the BC, or check that, the WCU club team. That's the Western Carolina University club team. Great opportunity to see the women's lacrosse team in action, 11 a.m. Saturday at Lamel Family Field. Then the women's lacrosse team will start their season, their regular season, that is, on Saturday, February the 17th at Ferrum in Ferrum, Virginia. Men's lacrosse, their season opener is set for Thursday, February the 8th in Montreat. Baseball, season opener at home at Gilcone Field. It's a doubleheader versus Averett on Saturday, February the 10th. And then softball season opener is on Saturday, February the 17th at Agnes Scott in Decatur, Georgia. The tennis teams open their season on Saturday, February the 17th versus Johnson & Wales in Charlotte, North Carolina. And track and field is off and running as well. They'll have a full schedule ahead this spring as well. Well, that brings us to basketball and our first guest of the evening, men's basketball associate head coach Miles Leathers. Coach Leathers, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having me, Phil. It's a pleasure to be on.
Yeah, great to be with you. Well, Coach, do want to catch viewers up on, the latest. And, if we were to look back this past week, it began with a big home matchup versus Pfeiffer. And this was an impressive win, Coach. The Tornadoes really getting it done, especially, in the clutch there in that second half, 86-77, the final score. Can you reflect a bit on that Pfeiffer win?
Yeah, for sure. First and foremost, Pfeiffer's a really, really good team, really talented. They have size, they have athleticism, they have really good guard play. So one of the main things that we really wanted to focus on is just to try to get as many stops as we can. And I feel like we did a really good job of that, especially in the second half. They really struggled to score. We pressured the ball. We rebounded the ball at a high level. We kept the guards out of the paint. And overall, I think that second half in particular, that was probably our best defensive half of the season, just in terms of stringing together stops, creating turnovers, getting out in transition. Our defense really fueled us for that win against Pfeiffer. So I do remember the crowd was great. Hats off to NATO Nation. They did a great job of supporting, and we pulled out a win against a really, really talented Pfeiffer team. So was definitely excited and definitely happy about the results of that.
Yeah, a big win there as these teams continue to jockey in a very tightly contested USA South Conference on the men's basketball side. Then you had to hit the road against a very tough Mary Baldwin club. And this one, Coach, came down to a buzzer beater. 79-76, Mary Baldwin came away with the win. For those who weren't able to check it out via stream this weekend, can you recap that matchup? Obviously not the way the Tornadoes wanted it to go, but a tight game all the way down to the final buzzer.
Yeah, absolutely. Mary Baldwin, another really talented team. That game was actually for first place in our league. We would have won. We would have been in first place. If Mary Baldwin won, which they did, they would have continued to be in first place. So another game that came down to the wire. Hats off to Mary Baldwin. They have a really talented group. They have some guys that can really, really score the ball. We knew it was going to be a challenge to guard them, but I feel like our guys were invested into our scouting report and our game plan. And, it came down to the wire. Like we said, we had some guys that really stepped up and made a lot of big time plays. In the second half, we kind of got into a hole in the second half that we had to dig ourselves out of. But ultimately, we put ourselves in a really good position to win the game, and the ball just didn't bounce our way. So, like I said, hats off to Mary Baldwin, credit to those guys. They're a really good team, and they're in first place for a reason. So, I told the guys that we were proud, or Coach Burgess and myself, we told the guys we were proud of them. We could have played a better game. We could have been a little more sharper, but the effort was there, the attention to detail was there, and the ball just didn't bounce our way.
Coach, altogether, the Tornadoes are winners of 5 of their last 7 games and really playing a high level of basketball this time of year when you want to be, starting to continue to trend upward and play your best. What do you credit to this recent success as far as winning 5 of the last 7 and just playing the high level of basketball that we've been able to see game in and game out?
Yeah, I think we're really starting to, find our stride on the defensive end. I think I'm an old school guy. I think defense wins championships. I think we've done a better job winning these 5 last 7 games. I think we've done a better job of getting stops, especially getting timely stops. Offensively, we're sharing the ball. We lead the league in assists. So we're definitely a team that's going to share the ball. We definitely have a lot of guys who can knock down shots and are capable of making big shots. So offensively, I think things are always going to take care of themselves because we have talented guys that can score and that can pass and can do a lot of different things with the ball. But defensively, I think that's where we can hang our hat, and I think that's where we can ultimately continue to improve to get to where we're trying to get to, which is a USA South championship.
Another big USA South matchup this weekend, 2 p.m. versus Southern Virginia at the Boshemer Gymnasium. Coach, the conference is such a tight race, towards the top there, that all these games are absolutely critical. But certainly, looking forward to this matchup, and the Tornadoes get the benefit of a week of preparation. No midweek game this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. We have plenty of time to prep for Southern Virginia. The first time around, Southern Virginia got the best of us when we played them on the road. So this is a game that we're, trying to get a little revenge. They have a really talented team. They have a lot of size that's going to present us some challenges. And they have a really, really good player in Koa Baker. He's a guy who he's coming off a USA South Player of the Week. He's very talented. He's a unique player. He has really good size. He's left-handed. He gets to wherever he wants to get to on the floor. He can knock down threes. So, it's going to be a challenge to guard him and their whole team. But, I think we could have been a little sharper the first time we played them on the road. So I'm hoping that we can, play the game that we're capable of playing, especially with a week of preparation. So it's going to be a big game. It's going to be a game where we're looking to avenge a loss from earlier in the season. And, ultimately, I feel like our prep needs to be sharp. Our attention to detail needs to be sharp, and we're going to have to play a really good game on Saturday in order to come out with a victory.
Looking forward to that one, Coach. It's also a special day and a chance to see the team in sort of a alternate look in a lot of ways. The red out for Jimmy Griffin. This is a program that's been going on every year since Coach Lee Burgess arrived here at Brevard College. It's a fundraiser and a opportunity to further the legacy and the memory of former Samford player Jimmy Griffin, who I know Coach Burgess was very close to, and continue to get his name and legacy out there, and also raise awareness towards heart health and that kind of thing. But Coach, I know this is an important program, not just for Coach Burgess, for yourself and for the rest of the team.
Absolutely, Phil. I think Coach Burgess has done a fantastic job of conducting this game every year. Like you said, Jimmy Griffin played for Coach Burgess back when he was an assistant at Samford. And I didn't get the chance to meet Jimmy Griffin, but from what Coach Burgess emphasized to us back when I was playing and now on the coaching staff, Jimmy Griffin was a guy who He represented the program the right way. He was about the right things, just in terms of competing hard, being a student athlete, putting the team first. He just represented the program in a really good way. And for Coach Burgess to continue to keep his name alive and have this game every year, I know it means a lot to him and his family. So hats off to Coach Burgess, and this is a really special game. It's a really important game every year, and ultimately, I think this is a game that his family can be proud of.
Yep. Funds annually raised for the Jimmy Griffin Legacy Foundation. A large amount of those funds goes to the American Heart Association, other donations to schools and churches that were instrumental in Jimmy's life as well. It's great to see that this is continuing on in Brevard College, a big part of this important cause. Coach, looking forward to action this weekend. Just maybe a final thought as far as this home stretch for the Tornadoes. We've been talking about it, for the past few weeks, just how closely contested this USA South Conference is. You're here now in your 5th season as BC, a coach now after, a fantastic career as a student athlete here. But I get the sense we're seeing something special with this team this year, Coach, and would love for you to sort of wrap it all together as far as, what this year's team is capable of and what's at stake down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. To your point, the race for the conference crown is extremely tight. One game can bump you up a couple spots. Losing in one game can bump you down a couple spots. So, ultimately, our guys have done a good job of just kind of tuning out the standings and just trying to win the game that's presented, the game that's in front of us. So Saturday is another opportunity for us to get another conference win. This group is extremely talented, and we're also extremely deep as well. I think we have a bunch of different guys that can score the ball. We have a bunch of different guys that can guard on the defensive end. We have versatility all across the board. We have a bunch of guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot. We have a bunch of guys that can guard different positions. We're definitely excited about the home stretch of the season. I definitely want to continue to encourage NATO Nation to continue to support the program, continue to come out, continue to be that voice that we need. But it's going to be a race. It's going to be a race to the finish line. So hopefully we can position ourselves in a good spot to put ourselves in a good space in terms of being towards the top of the league and putting ourselves in a good spot once the conference tournament rolls around. So, it's one step at a time for us. We have a big game Saturday that we need to give 100% attention to. And if we do that, I think we can pull a pretty big win out for the conference.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A big matchup indeed versus Southern Virginia, 2:00 on Saturday at the Bosch. Hope to see you there this Saturday. Associate head coach of men's basketball, Miles Leathers, join us. Coach, can you stick around with us just a couple more moments? We're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes into the conversation here.
Yes, sir.
Sly White has entered the building. Also, Jadon Carnes. Coach Leathers, before we let you go, introduce to NATO Nation, from your eyes, from your vantage point, what these two student athletes are all about.
Yes, sir. Jadon Carnes, Sly White, these two guys are guys that represent the program in a very, very good light. They're liked on campus. They're liked by their teammates. They're liked by the coaching staff. These two guys that represent the program the way it should be represented, and that's something that we're really proud of. Sly, he's a guy who is going to be vocal, who's going to lead the team, who's going to do things the right way, who's going to excel in the classroom. He's about to graduate. So Sly does a really good job just in terms of being a really strong representation. And Jadon as well, he's a guy who is going to excel in the classroom. He's a guy who is very versatile on the offensive end. He can shoot the ball extremely well. But like I said, these two guys, they're extremely likable guys. And they're guys who represent the program the way we would like it to be represented. So hats off to these guys.
Very good. Thanks for joining the program, Coach. We'll see you Saturday at the Bosch, 2 o'clock versus Southern Virginia. Great stuff. Thanks again, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
All right, there he goes, Associate Head Coach Miles Leathers, and joined by Sly White in that upper right location, senior forward out of Raleigh, North Carolina. How are you, Sly?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great to be with you. Absolutely. Doing great. Thank you. And Jadon Carnes with us as well in that lower center location, sophomore forward from Concord, North Carolina. How are you, Jadon?
Yes, sir. Doing well, Phil. Doing well.
Yeah, great to be with each of you this evening. Well, we talked to Coach a little bit about it. And, you know, when you add them all up, Tornadoes winners of 5 of the last 7 games, you know, playing some strong basketball from my vantage point, you know, in a lot of different areas, a lot to really be happy about. But I know there's, you know, plenty more goals to come. You know, we're hit the critical stretch of the USA South Conference schedule. Sly, sort of big picture, you know, where do you feel the team's at right now? And, you know, what's going to be the key down the stretch?
I feel like the team right now, I feel like we're in a positive place, even though we lost a tough one. We know we could have pulled that out, but it just didn't fall our way. So our morals are not down. We know we are still a really good basketball team. And from now on, we just got to take it one day at a time and just keep getting better every day and keep being a strong basketball team that we've been playing.
Yeah, Jadon, anything to add to that as far as, you know, sort of the rhythm that the team's in right now?
Yeah, I mean, Sly said it well. You know, we took a tough one, but we're a confident group, and we've played really good basketball as a team, and we just want to, you know, we competed in every game, and so we just want to kind of keep a positive mindset for the rest of the year.
Sly, Coach mentioned defense as in a lot of ways the difference between, you know, perhaps this team and, you know, the competition in the conference and that kind of thing. You know, is that something you all as players internally emphasize, the defensive end and how hard you have to work to get those W's via the D?
Yeah. With that, we know that we can put the ball in the basket, and then like we know sometimes we may struggle defensively. So that's been an emphasis on us for the past couple of years. That if we become a really strong defensive team, we'll be really good as a team.
And Jadon, what do you credit to a strong defensive club? You know, you hear a lot about team defense, help defense, these sort of things. But, you know, what makes Brevard a strong defensive club?
Yeah, you know, like Coach Leather said, Miles said, you know, we believe that defense wins championships. And so we've done a good job of just playing defense together and taking pride and realizing that being able to play defense at a high level is going to be able to pull out a lot of wins for us.
Jadon Carnes, second on the team in both scoring and assists. You know, Sly talked about, you know, we know there's lots of guys that can put them in the hoop, you included, but the assist part of your game, Jadon, you know, what's the key to sharing the basketball, to creating those opportunities for your teammates?
Yeah, I just, you know, I see the floor in a different lens, and I always tend to go full speed on both ends of the floor, but being able to move around a lot and being able to move without the ball just creates a lot of open floors for myself and for other players. And I'm a very unselfish player, so my first look is always going to be to dish it to somebody else if they're open. So
very good. And also joined by Sly White. Sly, you had a season high 15 points on a perfect 7 of 7 night against Pfeiffer. Do you remember that one? And was it just one of those nights that everything, you know, was just hidden, or, you know, were your teammates setting you up? Talk to us about it.
About that night, it was a big game for us. I feel like I think we were like 0-2 in the conference, so we were struggling. But like what you said, my teammates put the ball in like just in the best position for me.
Yeah, it makes it easy in a lot of those ways. But, you know, a lot of guys miss those short ones, so you got it done there. 7 for 7 from the field. Well done. Jadon Carnes, Sly White with us this evening. One more from the basketball side, then we'll get after it as far as some ideas off the court and that kind of thing. You know, Sly, this game this weekend, Southern Virginia, 2 o'clock tip at the Bosch. You know, we talked to Coach. You got a whole week to prepare for this team. You've seen them before. What's going to be the key against Southern Virginia?
Once again, like he emphasizes the defensive side. I feel like if we really key in on the matchups and the personnel and like know our scout, we have a good chance of winning that game. So it's just the mindset and the focusness from us.
Jadon, what's the key to the week ahead?
Yeah, we I think for us it's just to, like Sly said, to play great defense, but to take these matchups personal. I mean, they had the best of us the last time we played them, and we kind of just want to come in with a different mindset and understand how big of a game this is for the team going forward as well.
Sly White not only getting it done on the court, senior forward, key part of this program here, but off the court, been busy in the community as well, also gathering up your fellow students and student athletes for all sorts of programming. You're vice president of SAC, Sly. Congratulations on that role. A lot of responsibility, but tell us a little bit about the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, and what you all have going on here at Brevard College.
So SAC is, like he said, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. It's a really big part for us to push our student athletes in the classroom, but also to our sports as well. So what we're doing right now is Pennies for a Purpose is a donation. So each team has their own donation jar, and we'll have it set up at home games and at concession stands, and basically just to raise enough money for each team. The top 3 teams get to pot to their coaches in the face, and then the top team will donate. All their earnings will go to an organization that they chose.
Wait, I want to make sure we heard that correctly. They get to throw a pie in their coach's face. Is that right?
Yes, they do, to the top 3 teams that raise the most money.
Okay, so some real fun in the whole program as well. Awesome stuff. Sly, continued great work with SAC. Best of luck this spring, and we'll be hearing from more as far as the SAC programming comes, especially when we come along to those Bespies Awards at the end of the year. Looking forward to that as well. Jadon Carnes with us as well, sophomore forward, Concord, North Carolina. Jadon, tell us a little bit about what's keeping you busy away from the court.
Yeah, I'm involved in a lot of different things. I'm also in SAC as well, but I also am in a lot of clubs and do a lot of other things and involved in a lot of other things that aren't even related to Brevard as a whole. And so being able to have an opportunity to be involved in different aspects other than sports is just really a great successor for me, being able to understand that there are more important things than just playing sports all the time. So being able to be involved and help the community and, being able to just do different things is something that I take passion in and get excited about.
Yeah, there's a hashtag that goes around called hashtag YD3. And, what both of you guys just explained is kind of, in a lot of ways, the essence of Division III athletics. And, that it's more than just, winning the games, which we certainly want to do that as well. But, all these ideas off the court and, all the great work you guys are doing in the community. Appreciate all that. How about in the classroom, Sly? Senior year, what degree are you heading towards?
I'll be finishing with a Bachelor's of Science in Exercise Science, and then I'm also a minor in the business as well.
And have you projected ahead a little bit what you're looking to do with the degree?
Looking to pursue physical therapy and looking potential grad school opportunities as well.
Very good. And how about yourself, Jadon? Tell us what you're up to in the classroom.
Yeah, I'm a physical education and recreation major with a coaching minor. So hopefully if all goes well, I would love to be able to get into coaching. Now, obviously, that's not all I want to do. I'm still kind of figuring that area out, but I know that I don't want to leave the game behind, and being able to teach the tools that I was learned at a young age to the next generation is something I'm passionate about.
Great stuff. Well, really appreciate all the hard work, the leadership from both of you, Sly White and Jadon Carnes. Can't wait to see you in action along with the rest of the team on Saturday, 2:00 versus Southern Virginia. Before we let you go, you guys know the drill. Shout outs or thank yous. Sly White, the floor is yours.
Just want to shout out all the people in my corner. So my mom and my family, and also my girlfriend as well. Just want to shout out all my friends from back home. They all support me, and I love them the most.
Well done. Jadon Carnes, same opportunity for you.
Yeah, just all my family, friends, peers, teammates, coaches, and church family that have helped me along the way. They definitely deserve a shout out.
Very good. Sly White, Jadon Carnes from the Brevard College men's basketball team. You guys have made us proud all season long. Can't wait to see what's around the corner here. Best of luck this weekend versus Southern Virginia and through the home stretch of the USA South Conference action. Thanks for joining the show, Great job, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, there they go. We're going to quickly shift gears and go to the women's side. Women's basketball head coach Donald Hudson joining the program. Coach Hudson, how are you?
I'm good, Phil. What's going on? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you well. Thanks for being here this evening, Coach. Great to have you with us. Well, Coach, at this juncture, the Tornadoes 12-5 overall, 7-4 in the USA South Conference, a strong 7-2 at home. A tough contest this weekend against the team ranked currently first place in the standings, Southern Virginia. But a lot of basketball still to be played. The Tornadoes right there in the conference standings. But love for you to kind of give us a state of the union where Brevard College women's basketball is right here and now.
Okay. And I'll start with this weekend's game. We've been playing pretty good basketball, pretty solid. And even this weekend, it was a very, very tough loss, Phil. Myself and Coach AB got together and talked about it some this morning, and we got to quickly put it behind us. Whether we want to or not, we got to move on and turn the page. Got a solid Pfeiffer team coming in here tomorrow, and they're going to be trying to get a win. So we had to turn the page on it, but I thought we played okay. Defensively, we did enough to win. Defensively, we played well enough to win that basketball game. Not as efficient from an offensive standpoint as we would have liked to been. Created some open shots with our offense, nice driving kicks, screening into some open shots, just didn't knock them down, just didn't put them in. Even with all that being said, we still had a chance to win. We got off to a really good start. And after that first quarter, you can kind of see our offensive numbers start to dwindle a little bit. I think we scored 21 in the first, and then 10, 11, and 12 in the second, third, and the fourth quarter. And it's tough to win, to beat a high-level team like that, only scoring 54 points. Our defense was solid, holding them to 57. That's where we want to be. But, Phil, we're a team that averages 70 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
For us to score 54, it's not going to get it done. That's not enough. But as a group right now, we're still in high spirits. Our goals are still in front of us. The things that we want to achieve are still attainable. And that's something that the team understands. They were in really good spirits today. A little too giddy for my liking today in practice, but I'm glad to see that we haven't let that loss bring us down. The plan is to not lose 2 in a row. That's our thing all year. And we've been pretty good about that. We haven't dropped 2 in a row all year, and we don't plan on starting that tomorrow. We need to play a certain way. We have 3 games this week, so we got to do a really good job of taking care of our bodies, being locked in from a mental standpoint, moving on from team to team, going with different scouts and different opponents. But I'm proud of the group, Phil. It would have been really good to win that game this weekend. We work extremely hard, and that's what makes it tough and hard to move on from. We prepared for that team for an entire week. Like last week, we didn't have a game. We played on last Saturday, and then we didn't play again until we played them this past Saturday. So we had a week to just look at nothing but them, and we watched a lot of our first matchup against them. We did different things in practice. That's why that one burns a lot. You put so much into it going into that whole week, and you have a really good chance to win the game. It just didn't bounce our way. One of my sayings that I got from a coach that I played under is hard work doesn't always guarantee success. It gives you a chance to succeed. It puts you in the best positions to succeed. But just because you're working hard doesn't mean you're going to be successful. And that was a lesson that we learned the hard way this past weekend. Because we played our tails off, Phil. There was nothing to go into the locker room and yell and scream about from an effort standpoint. It was just some of the smaller things, putting the ball in the basket and a few second shots that they got as far as offensive rebounding that really hurt us. But I'm proud of the group, and I still think our best basketball is in front of us coming down the stretch.
It was a remarkable game to watch on Saturday, and I know everybody in the building was very proud of the group as well, but I know the team's hungry, ready to get right back at it, and good news is opportunity tomorrow, as you mentioned, Tuesday versus Pfeiffer, 6:30 p.m. at the Bosch, opportunity for the Tornadoes. Preview this matchup for us a bit, Coach.
Okay, and this is our first time seeing this team. We haven't played, we've played a couple of teams twice already, and we haven't seen this team once. So kind of a different schedule. We'll play them twice in the next week and a half, next 2 weeks. So we'll get to know them pretty well. But it's a group that's kind of in a rebuilding situation, but have some talent. They have 2 guards that can come in here and give us problems if we're not ready, Phil. I think they are 4-12 maybe, but a team that's better than what their record shows. They've lost a lot of close ones, so those 4 wins could be around 6 or 7. And I know the coach personally. She went to school here for a little bit, and I got a chance to coach her for a while. I'm looking forward to matching up against her tomorrow. Proud of what she's been able to do as she's kind of graduated and moved on from program to program. Now she's a head coach and has her own program. Looking forward to what it brings to her down the road. I don't want her to have any success tomorrow, of course, but looking forward to what she does with that program going forward. It's a team that wants to play fast. They're going to get up a lot of threes. Smaller team, so I do think we'll have some advantages on the interior with some of our interior passing and playing through our post, playing inside-out basketball. But looking forward to watching our group go compete.
Absolutely. So, folks, make your way to the Boshemer Gymnasium, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow night, Tuesday night. If you're not able to get there in person, it'll be live on YouTube, women's basketball action on the YouTube channel for Brevard College Tornadoes. Then this weekend, as you mentioned, Coach, it's a 3-game in 1 week. And Tornadoes will hit the road for a back-to-back at NC Wesleyan on Friday and then at Meredith on Saturday. So you have to hit the road, take on a couple of back-to-backs, all part of, 3 games in really 5 days. So tough challenge here for the Tornadoes this week altogether. And as far as keeping the legs moving and all these things.
Yeah. So it's going to be on myself, Coach AB, and our trainer, Andrew, making sure that we're putting the girls in the best positions to be successful and giving them what they need as far as time off and getting their bodies into the training room before we have injuries and everything, making sure we're staying stretched and make sure our bodies are ready to roll when it goes into this weekend. But 2 good opponents this weekend as well. Wesleyan knocked us off early in the year. It's been a while since we've seen them. I think we played both of these teams in November. So it's been a while since we've seen them. But we'll be ready to roll, Phil. We need a really good week. And one of our senior captains made sure the team understood that today. China Pouncey, at the beginning of practice, she let it be known that we need 3 wins this week.
You got to love that sort of leadership from China. Coach, they're doing your job in a lot of ways, right? And that's what you're looking for internally for the student athletes to take the lead like that and to, pass on the message like that.
Oh, man, absolutely, Phil. Absolutely. Myself and Coach AB, we're just here to kind of make sure the boat stays on the right path. But this thing is going to go where the players take it. We're going to be here to guide them and to do the things that we're supposed to do as coaches. But the best teams are the ones that have the internal accountability, the ones that can look at each other when things are tough and understand that it's going to take us to get out of this. Coaches really can't help us with this. They can give us right calls or put us in situations, but us as the players, we've got to be the ones to go out here and make these plays. And I think as the days and the months have gone on, our team has kind of figured it out a little bit more because we've harped on it all year. It can't just be myself and Coach AB talking in practice about what's going wrong, about the things we're not doing right. Some of that has to come from them, and they've done a better job of that, like using their voices when it's time and understand that when a teammate is telling me something after I messed up, I'm not being attacked. It's constructive criticism. It's criticism that's being used to help us go in the right direction. It's used to help us. So sometimes you got to let that guard down and just not feel like I'm being attacked, but use it as motivation or use it as something to help me not make this same mistake that I just made, and I think the group has done better of that as the days and the season has gone along.
Coming down the stretch run of USA South Conference play. And, we talked to Coach Leathers about the idea of the USA South Conference, the competitiveness on the top. And, Tornadoes currently 4th in the standings behind Southern Virginia Methodist. NC Wesleyan have a few games lead ahead of Meredith and Greensboro. But it's a tough league, Coach, and in one of those two that, in short amount of time, a team like the Tornadoes can work their way up those standings and suddenly have home court advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah. And like I've always been, as a player and as a coach, I don't tend to watch the standings a ton. Like I just try to come in here every day, keep our head down and put our best foot forward every day, one day at a time and see where it leads us. But I will tell you, I have checked in on it recently, and I see where we are. And like you said, if we have a nice week and a half, we can climb. I think we're in the 4th spot right now, and the teams ahead of us, we still have to play them, all except for Southern Virginia. We're done with them. Unfortunately, they swept us. Hopefully we see them again in the tournament, but I don't know how that goes. I don't know how it would fall. But we have a chance to climb and get as high as number 2 right now. But we just want to go one day at a time, become better people and better players one day at a time and see what it leads to. That's something that we kind of harp on every day, like not putting the cart before the horse, making sure we don't look up the stairs and trip over this one in front of us trying to get there too fast. Right now our focus has to be on Pfeiffer Falcons. If we kind of look forward to what we have this weekend with Wesleyan coming up, big matchup, we'll get beat tomorrow. If we don't bring the right attitude and give them our full focus and our full concentration, they'll come in here and they'll knock us off. I don't think the team is going to look past anybody. Not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's where we have to be. That has to be our mindset. One day at a time, one practice at a time, and we'll see where it takes us.
And the one day at a time mentality continues tomorrow. BC versus Pfeiffer, 6:30 p.m. at the Bosch. Hope you can join us for that one. Coach Hudson, we've got a couple of your student athletes in the queue here. Can you stick with us just a moment or two longer as we invite them onto the show?
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right. And Naliyah Boyce and Olivia Miller, kind of, doing the 2-for-1 here on that lower location here on Tornado Talk. Coach Hudson, these two tremendous student athletes here at Brevard College. Tell NATO Nation even more about these two.
Yeah, I'm privileged to coach these young women, and watch them kind of grow every day as people, as players, and watching what they're developing into. Naliyah Boyce is a junior for us from McDowell High School in Marion, and Olivia Miller is a sophomore for us from Hudson, North Carolina, South Caldwell. And they both are doing some really good things right now, on and off the court. In recent games, they both have put up some big numbers. Like this past game, Naliyah had 19 and 7. And a couple of games ago, was an assist away, I think. An assist away from a triple-double. So close, yeah, so close. Had a couple teammates that missed a few layups, missed a few shots that would have given you a triple-double. But two really good women. I can't ask for more. They're doing exactly what we've asked them to do, and they're going to lead us down the stretch. Like these two will be a big part of wherever this thing goes. However, this thing finishes down the stretch, I have no idea, Phil. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks, but I do know these two will be right in the middle of it, and I look forward to watching them down the stretch.
Outstanding, Coach. Well said. Looking forward to seeing the team in action tomorrow night versus Pfeiffer at the Bosch. Thanks for joining the program, Head Coach Donald Hudson.
Thank you, Phil. Y'all have a good night, ladies. I'll see y'all.
All right, there he goes, Coach Hudson. And join here, Naliyah Boyce and Olivia Miller. Thank you both for joining the program. Naliyah, why don't we start with you? A spirited practice today, it sounded like, and then you guys got a game tomorrow. Tell us a little bit as far as the mentality of the team. The game didn't go the way you wanted on Saturday, but big opportunity ahead starting tomorrow versus Pfeiffer.
So the game against Southern Virginia didn't really go the way we wanted it, but we just had to put on that next game mentality, and we evaluated after the game and just thought to ourselves, this may not be the last time we see them. We could possibly see them whenever playoffs come around. So we're just moving on, trying to knock off everybody else in our schedule and just hope for the best.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I was talking to play-by-play announcer Brady Penn, and we were talking about the same idea. Would love to see the two teams go at it a third time around. But first things first, Pfeiffer tomorrow. And Olivia, same question for you. Tell us about sort of the mentality of the team and how ready the Tornadoes are to get back after it tomorrow versus Pfeiffer.
I think we're pretty ready. Coach does a great job at prepping us, getting us scouts. Like we know pretty much exactly what they're going to do and how we're going to come back at them. So we had a good practice today, prepping for that. I think we're ready. We did have a very excited practice. We all seemed very excited. So I'm ready to see what we do tomorrow.
Very good. And Olivia, let's stick with you. Coach mentioned this near miss triple double. And for us, statistics types, the triple double, pretty rare in the sport of basketball. And it means that you're doing it in multiple areas. You had 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. Kind of two questions. Question one is, tell us about that game and that performance and how you were just kind of, how you're feeling that afternoon. But question two is, did you have any idea of the stats?
No, that's how I was going to answer number one. I had no clue, truthfully. I was like, oh, we're playing really good. We're all playing really good. Like, and I knew I had a few assists. Like, I never pay attention during the game. I just play. I'm going to be honest. I just play. But someone did, I'm sure you know Hannah Achilles that sweeps the floor. She tried to get my attention to tell me how close I was. And if I would have realized, I would have tried to make every pass possible to get that one assist.
Wow, outstanding. Well, that's great that the NATO Nation is that attentive to the statistics as they're unfolding. Hannah, a big fan of Tornado Talk as well. She's been chiming in all show, and that is fascinating how that all kind of works. The mentality of a player during a game like that. And Naliyah, Boyce, you've been putting up some big numbers as well, double figures in your last two games. You had 12 points in that win over William Peace. You had 19 points versus Southern Virginia this past weekend. Tell us about, your game and, when you're, feeling good offensively, just what that's all about.
So coach kind of, gives me that prep talk before games, and he kind of, the day before a game at practice, he kind of lays it out flat for me, what he expects out of me and how the other opponents are going to be. And he really just prepares me very well, and he lets me go in confident knowing that I have the ability to execute what needs to be done. So I kind of take that into consideration and just realize like the talent I have in front of me, and I just kind of put that into perspective and try to execute as good as possible to get myself and our team where we need to go.
Very good. Olivia Miller and Naliyah Boyce join us from the Brevard College women's basketball team. All right, Olivia, what's going to be the key down the stretch with this team? You guys have been working hard throughout the year, dating all the way back to preseason, but we're kind of getting into crunch time. What's going to be the key down the stretch here for you all to meet your goals?
Good question. I think we've been putting a lot together recently. Like we have a deep bench. We have lots of talent on the team, but I think lately, and I felt like very confident the Southern Virginia game, I feel like that game we put a lot together and we did what we needed to do as a team. Obviously we focus a lot on defense. Like whenever you can't buy a basket, if you can play defense, you could stay in the game. And so I think we did that pretty well against Southern Virginia, and I hope that we continue to do that. And coach always says, and I agree, it's the small thing. It's the rebounding, it's the scrappy plays, it's just the small things. I think that's what it'll come down to in these next few games, and I think we're ready for it.
Outstanding. Well, looking forward to seeing it all start, this journey down the stretch here of USA South Conference play. We'll be there for every step of the way, beginning tomorrow versus Pfeiffer. A couple more before we let you go. Let's kind of take it more big picture and away from the court a little bit. Naliyah, what's it like to be a Brevard College women's basketball student athlete? And, we know what happens on the court. We read the statistics. We see the games and all these things. But what's it like to be a member of the team?
It's great. I like the bond that we have, and especially this year, I feel like we've grown a lot closer together. As coach said, we were very excited at practice today, but I think it's just because of the bonds we have and like our personalities, like we all just mesh well together, and we're very uplifted and we're always just laughing. It's always fun. So I think being a part of a sisterhood like this is a good thing, but also the peers and the support that we have around us on campus, like our teachers, faculty members, like our students, like our other students that we're with in class, like they're always at the game uplifting us, afterwards. They'll be like, oh, you did so good yesterday. And, I just think that having the bonds that we have here is great.
And same opportunity for you, Olivia, being a Brevard College student athlete, but also being a Brevard College women's basketball student athlete. What's it like for you?
I agree. We get a little too giggly sometimes. We get along a little too much. We're big on, we'll see each other in CAF, for example, and if we see anyone, we love hugs. Our whole team loves hugs. And Coach AB she'll kind of hate on us a little bit. She'll be like, y'all are so touchy-feely. And we're like, we just love each other. Like, we just want to be around each other. So
I like the word Naliyah used earlier, sisterhood.
yes.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Awesome stuff, each of you. Naliyah, tell us a little bit what you're up to in the classroom.
So I am a psychology major with a minor in criminal justice, and right now I'm taking 2 criminal justice classes and 3 psych classes and a senior preparation class. And my plan is to follow through with psychology and hopefully do something towards that field in the future, but I have criminal justice as a backup.
Outstanding majors and programs here at Brevard College. Olivia, tell us what you're up to in the classroom.
So I'm a business major, lots of business classes, and also accounting, which is which I'm not very good at, I'm not gonna lie. But plan for the future, couldn't tell you, Phil. I'm a business major and I'm going with that.
Very, very good. No, it's quite all right. Certainly that's what the, college and Brevard College is about is figuring it all out. So appreciate you both and the hard work, both on the court, in the classroom, such a big part of, the success of the Tornadoes. Olivia Miller out of Hudson, North Carolina. Tell us real quick, a little bit about your upbringing as a basketball player and then eventually how you found Brevard.
So I started playing basketball when I was little in rec league. I played every sport up until sophomore year of high school is when I kind of locked in and I was like, okay, I'm going to focus only on basketball. My cousin coached here, Shannon Reed. That's how I knew about Brevard. And Coach Hud was her assistant coach. So I kind of grew up here a little bit, spent my summers up here. And so for the opportunity to come play here, I jumped at it. And so super excited to play for Coach Hud. It was kind of a full circle coming here. And yeah, that's how I ended up at Brevard.
Great stuff. Same opportunity for you, Naliyah, from nearby Marion, North Carolina. Not all that far from Brevard College, but kind of on that other side of the mountain over in McDowell County. Tell us about, your upbringing as a basketball player, then ultimately finding your way to Brevard.
So I'm not that far away, a little bit over an hour and a half. I started playing ball at a very young age. I played softball and basketball growing up. I stopped softball my freshman year of high school, and that's when I decided to lock in on basketball. Some people may know, some people may not, but a fellow teammate on the team, McKenna Parkins, we've played together since middle school. So I kind of heard about this through her, and after she left the year before me, Coach Hud had reached out to me and started talking to me and trying to get me comfortable with coming here, and I visited. I loved it. I seen a chance to play with McKenna again, and I was like, I'll take it. And I didn't know that I would like the campus as much, but a coincidence is I played here in travel ball. So I think it's very interesting that I played here in travel ball, and then that's where I decided to go. I've been here for 3 years.
Awesome stuff. I love both the stories, the serendipity of it all. Olivia Miller and Naliyah Boyce, now members of the Brevard College Tornado women's basketball team. Well, you all know the drill. Before we let you go, you've got the opportunity. Shout outs, thank yous. Anyone you want to just say what's up to? Naliyah Boyce, we'll let you go first.
I would like to give a shout out to my mom and my dad, my grandma, my siblings, everyone that supports me, to the coaches and to my teammates for all the love and support that they give also. And just a special shout out to my friend HG3.
Very good. Olivia Miller, same opportunity for you.
Okay, I'm going to give a shout out to Mom, Dad. I know they're watching at home right now. My Gram, my Nani, my Nana, everyone who comes and supports me. Thanks to the coaches, the team, some friends here at Brevard. Shout out to Hannah, who also, you always find her sweeping the floors at game day. Yeah, I think that's it.
Very good. Well, nicely done this evening on Tornado Talk. Naliyah Boyce and Olivia Miller. Can't wait to see you in action tomorrow versus Pfeiffer at the Bosch. We'll be there for the 6:30 p.m. tip-off. Best of luck tomorrow and beyond. Naliyah Boyce and Olivia Miller, thanks for joining the show.
Thank
you
for having us.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears quickly. And for the first time in the 2024 calendar year, going to bring on head women's lacrosse head coach Roya Tahmassebi. Coach Tahmassebi, how are you?
Hey, Phil, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. Well, women's lacrosse is like the first out of the gate for the spring sports, because there's a scrimmage this weekend, 11 a.m. Versus the WCU club team at Islamel Family Field. Great opportunity for an early look at the Tornadoes, but I also know it's a valuable, sort of, gauge of where y'all are at during this, preseason spring practice. But Coach Tahmassebi, would love for you to kind of tell us a little bit about this year's team and, how things are looking so far in practice.
Absolutely. So far things have been just progressively getting better, which is just everything that you want, right? This year, our team kind of went through a big change. So me kind of moving into the head coaching role, as well as we had a huge senior class that left. So our roster were half new people, half returners. So a lot of our time kind of through the off season building in has been learning how to work together. Finding those new connections, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, adding in new things. So that's kind of been what practice has been. And this Saturday, our scrimmage is going to be a really good test. We have new offensive motions, new defenses that we're putting in. So the Saturday is going to be a good test to see how successful those are.
Yeah, a great opportunity for fans to come on out. 11 a.m. There's a men's basketball game later in the day, so you can really get a whole day of Tornado athletic action. 11 a.m. women's lacrosse scrimmage on Saturday. And then the season isn't far away as well. The regular season, that is, opener at Ferrum in Ferrum, Virginia, and then we'll be along our way getting going with women's lacrosse. Roya, tell us a little bit about the season ahead, even further, the schedule that you've laid out, and what fans can expect at Islamel Family Field.
Absolutely. So starting off, Western Carolina, right? It's a scrimmage, but we've never played them before, so that'll be interesting. 2 weeks after that, we're on the road to Ferrum. We did play Ferrum last year in a very, very good game. So I'm excited to see how we do there. After that, we do have a couple of teams that we've never seen before, or at least haven't seen in a long time. So we see Eastern Mennonite, we're playing Albion, which are all going to be very new games for us. But seeing as we're, kind of a somewhat newish team coming into this, I think it's going to be a really awesome opportunity to see kind of what we have and what we can stand. And then we've got conference coming down the line as well. The standings came out. We're right in that 5 spot. But I truly think that we can be in the top 4 this year. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for us to see down the line.
Yeah, a great season last year that you were a key part of as assistant coach, and then take over the head coaching reins. Tell us a little personally, Coach Tahmassebi, what it's been like to become the head coach, and sort of your journey, arriving here at Brevard College, and now in charge of the Brevard College women's lacrosse program.
Yeah, I can tell you, Phil, when I got here, I did not think that in just 2 short years I was going to become the head coach of this program, but it has been an awesome opportunity. Being able to have the relationships built with some of the returners over the last 2 years has kind of helped switching into this role. I think not being, brand new coach coming in, the players know me, they know how to talk to me. So that's been, pretty nice, but there's, no way that I would be in this position without the help of Riz. She taught me a lot about what I didn't know about this job. She helped motivate me and kind of support me through into this head coaching role. So, I'm nothing but honored to take on the program that she built, that she run. Just really excited to kind of see where the program goes. Hopefully in an upward direction.
Yeah, Coach Kristen Rosado, now no longer a coach for Brevard College, an administrator, the senior woman administrator in the Department of Athletics, assistant athletic director, does so much, for behind the scenes, for the operation here that runs smoothly thanks to Coach Rosado. I still call her Coach. I'm sure plenty others do as well. But just like Coach Rosado had you, Roya, you've got a couple of key assistants on your staff this year. One's a former player in Casey Collins, and the other, a lot of NATO Nation knows from the football field of all places, graduate assistant coach Toby Naylor. Tell us about Casey and Toby and their contributions.
Absolutely. So Casey has been a huge help. I had the honor of coaching her senior year. That was my first year here. And she was the most versatile player on the team at that point, right? She played goalie, midfield, defense, offense, really anywhere we could put her, she did fantastic. So that was kind of, no doubt was going to be a call for me when I got the job. And so she's been on primarily as our goalie coach, and she's just been fantastic. So super excited to have her kind of with the program now in the coaching role. And then Toby, so he interned with us last year as our strength and conditioning coach and did such a great job. Again, no hesitation asking him to come back this year. He has been great with the players. I mean, taking the time to learn the mechanics of lacrosse. He comes to all of our practices. He does kind of reaction work with our midfielders. So we utilize him kind of not just in the weight room, but outside. So there's no way that I would kind of be standing on my 2 feet without the help of those two.
Well, getting someone like Toby Naylor up to speed on the sport of lacrosse, and a lot of it's on him for, taking the initiative and so forth. But it proves to me that it's possible that someone who, comes in sort of blind to a sport that's new for a lot of people can learn about it fairly quickly. I can attest from my experience, when I got here at Brevard College, I had never covered the sport of lacrosse, and I'm hardly an expert yet, but I've learned a thing or two. But perhaps Roya will go this direction. As far as a fan goes who's just starting to learn, what would be some of the things you would sort of advise them to kind of get that learning curve going on a quicker direction?
Absolutely. So the biggest thing that I say to people who are just starting to watch lacrosse is do not get overwhelmed by the whistles. There is a whistle that gets blown every 10 seconds for something. And those some things change every 2 years with the rules. So I always say, just don't even worry about the whistles, right? What you want to see, and when you're looking for our team, is our ability for our defense to work as a unit, to stop the offense from having an opportunity to score. You want to see the way that we can transition the ball through the midfield and how we can help stop the other team from doing that. And on the other side of the field, right on the offensive end, our movements, our teamwork, being able to kind of use each other, get good shots off. The biggest thing is obviously the ball in the back of the net is a great thing if it's on our end. And we have, great goalies this year to help stop the ball going in the back of the net on our end.
Yeah, absolutely. And coach, do want to take it off the field as well, because the women's lacrosse team year in, year out, they've won that Tornado Club Cup several times, which is sort of like the top all around team when it comes to community service and spirit on campus, academics, and also athletics as well. 4 Tornado women's lacrosse players were named CSC academic all district honorees. That's like the biggest academic all-American program there is. 3 of whom will be back this year. Lex MacLauchlin, who we're going to have on the show in a little bit, Cassidy Hutto, and Emily Denega, along with Parker Moore. So, whether it's in the classroom, in the community, women's lacrosse continues to shine. I'd love for you to communicate to our audience, just how important that is for the team culture, and for you from a leadership perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, with a school like Brevard, I always tell my players, I tell this to recruits, is your experience at Brevard is not just going to happen on the campus itself. You're going to get off campus, you're going to go sit at a coffee shop, you're going to walk through a grocery store, right? You're going to experience the town, you're going to go on hikes and walk by people. And it makes a difference when you know who's in that community, when you can make a name for yourself, when you can go out and kind of show the community that we're not just athletes, we're not just academics. My students, my players, right? We're not just here for school. We're not just here for lacrosse. We're here to learn about life, and life doesn't just happen on a college campus. And so allowing my players to get out and make connections with people off campus, build relationships, and all of that is definitely huge.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Coach, and I appreciate all the hard work that's been put into that. A lot of organizations throughout Transylvania County have benefited from women's lacrosse's participation in the community. So thank you for that continued leadership as well. Well, Coach, can you stick with us just a couple moments longer? We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes here, been waiting patiently in the backstage queue. So we'll invite onto the program Lex MacLauchlin, also Xan Hill. And before he lets you go, Coach Tahmassebi, help introduce these two to NATO Nation.
Absolutely. So I'll start with Lex. a lot of you know Lex is our goalie. I threw field stick in her hands this year, and she's now playing defense. So if you do come to our games this year, her position's going to look a little bit different, but it just says a lot to her character, right? Obviously, a change into a new position is huge. She picked up that stick and she got to it. She even asked me the other day if I needed her to play midfield, which I thought, which is awesome, right? Like, I love that she has that attitude. It shows her leadership, it shows her commitment, and that is just honestly everything that we could say about Lex. Like, her positivity and leadership is huge. And then Xan over here, she honestly this year has grown into her confidence as not just a player, but as a person. I mean, she's doing great things off the field. She's doing great things on the field. I mean, these two people are names you're going to hear nonstop this season. So I'm excited that they're able to be on here and talk to you.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate your leadership, Coach. Thanks for all your work over the years. By the way, just behind the curtain a little bit, Roya used to produce Tornado Talk, when she was working in the sports information office along with her coaching duties. So thank you for that over the years and helping this program continue to move along. And looking forward to the scrimmage on Saturday, Coach, and seeing the team in action. Thanks for joining the program.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, there she goes. Also, once again, this Saturday, 11 a.m., chance to see the women's lacrosse program in action at Lamel Family Field, a scrimmage versus Western Carolina University's club team. Well, joined by Lex MacLauchlin in that upper right location. How are you, Lex?
I'm good, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. And Xan Hill joining us as well. How are you, Xan?
Good, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you both. Well, it's here, like lacrosse season. Like we're ready to get this thing started. I mean, the two of you and the team have been working hard, whether it be fall practice and getting ready, this spring already. But from the fan standpoint, we finally get to see the team in action this Saturday with the scrimmage. Lex, how does it feel to kind of be at this juncture where it's finally game week?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. Like, I cannot wait for season to start. Me and one of our freshmen were talking today just how pumped we are for Saturday to come.
Yeah, no doubt. I can only imagine. Xan, similar feelings as far as the excitement that game week is finally here?
Yeah, I'm mostly just excited to be playing with this team again. We have a month and a half in the fall to play together, but this time, in the spring, is just we're together 24/7 basically, and I'm just so excited for us to play on Saturday.
Coach talked about the roster this year and how there's a bunch of newcomers because there were so many graduates. Lex, tell us about the gelling of the team and the newcomers and how players like yourself, upperclassmen, getting them acclimated and gelling with the program.
It's definitely been a process. We started with a brand new team, basically, brand new head coach, a few returners, but at the end of it, we were all new to how our team was going to rock. So it was a bit of a process, but we were all standing on fresh feet. So it was fun to, get us all acclimated to each other.
Xan, now a sophomore here at Brevard College. How does it feel to be a sophomore versus, that freshman year?
Coming in here as a freshman is scary because these girls have played together for 2 or 3 years, and coming as a new person, they don't know what you're capable of doing. So I totally understand how the freshmen feel now, because, I mean, we are a pretty weird, scary group, if you would say, but we also welcome people in. So these freshmen that have come in, we had a lot of freshmen come in. We had 8. So they have come in with open arms, and we've grown to be a new family in a way. But compared to last year, it's not as scary once you get in, but when you come in that first day, you're scared. So, but as a sophomore, I walked in there and just realized what I needed as a freshman and gave it to them.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of that stuff is just natural and, just comes with the territory of being a freshman in college. But great to see that you were able to, succeed as a freshman student athlete. And now you're here as a sophomore, ready to take it to another level. Lex, coach talked about you moving into the field. We're so used to seeing you patrol that goal mouth as the goalkeeper, but now with a field player stick in your hand and ready to go on the defensive end, what has that transition been like for you?
Definitely hard. Definitely weird for me. I've been a goalie for the last, 10 years. And so switching to a field position has been a complete change in my life. It's been scary, but it's what our team needed. So you have to just step up and do it sometimes. It's been fun, but it's been a lot.
Xan, tell us a little bit from your perspective, because you've watched this take place, right? Lex moving from the goal into the field. It's going pretty good, right?
Lex was a very good goalie. Probably one of the best, because I've played for 14 years and have never seen a goalie as hype as she gets in the goal. Even if the ball goes in the back of the net, she'll be mad, but she'll be hyped at the same time. So that takes a lot for a goalie. But seeing it happen, I think it's a great change, because we needed someone that has a goalie perspective on the field, that helps with attack also. She's able to tell us, this goalie's good at this. You need to shoot here, because I know this is where her weakness is. She knows what we need to do. And she's also taking control of the defense in a way that's been very helpful. Because I'm playing midfield wherever Roya tells me to go. So defense is a little iffy with me. So she tells me to just go when I go. So she's been a really good helping hand now on the field, and I really enjoy playing with her.
Outstanding to hear. And Lex, a couple of the freshmen are goalkeepers, and so that's part of this equation too. What are you noticing from them?
They're both just out of this world goalies. They're both super driven to be the best goalie that they can be, and now there's competition for that starting spot. The last 3 years there hasn't been, and so it's super exciting to watch them feed off of each other and have healthy competition. But both of them are insanely good at what they do. And I'm excited to see them grow out of their shell a little bit.
Outstanding. Yeah. Kyla Smith-Fondal from Texas and Amelia Fuentes from St. Augustine, Florida. A couple names to keep an eye on, as well as, things start to shift a little bit here with women's lacrosse. Lex moving into the field, but excited to see that. Well, Xan, as we're looking through the comments, as the social media scroll is flying through here, I can't help but notice the two words draw dog. Tell us about the draw dog, what it's all about, what's the key to being an effective draw dog, and just sort of this sort of culture and mentality that you all have created here with the Tornado women's lacrosse team.
So Parker Moore has always taken the draw, and Emily is always on the draw circle. And we weren't doing really well at Pfeiffer with the draw. Their draw girl she was very good at what she was doing. And Parker's draw was not working towards our advantage. So they put me on the draw. And it was my first time taking it since senior year. Had not done anything. Roya literally taught me on the sideline at halftime. And I got thrown in there. And then the next day at practice, Parker and Emily kept saying, draw dog, draw dog. And they grew up, I guess, throughout playing together, said that. And then I started taking the draw and then ended up in the Draw Dog Club. And we actually made shirts with the airbrush people that came on campus during our spring festival that say draw dogs, and then dog paws on them with our initial in it. So we have shirts and then surprised Roya with them. So it's been a big change, because now I'm the draw girl and I'm up to high standards with Parker Moore and how she did her draws. And it's going to be fun this year. I still have Emily on the circle, thank God, because if not, I would not have any draw dogs with me. And I need Emily
But I miss Parker doing the draw dog because it does not complete our little pack that we have.
Awesome stuff. The draw dogs within the Brevard College Tornado women's lacrosse team. A big part of the success of any lacrosse team is winning those draw controls, and you all poised to get it done. Well, Lex, catch us up a little bit. What you're up to off the court, or off the playing field, because you do so much around campus. Folks, if you are a regular on bctornadoes.com, so many of the images that you see there are from Lex, who's just an outstanding sports photographer. Tell us about that, and also what you're up to academically.
Well, thanks, Phil, for that. So I do a lot of the sports photography for school here. I'm a football intern, so everything on the football Instagram, that's all me. It's just something that I kind of fell into and fell in love with, and it was actually men's basketball that got me into sports photography. So huge shout out to them. Academically, though, I'm a Borg major, which is business. I'm a junior, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, we're working on some minors, just kind of hanging out until we get to graduate.
In one quick follow-up, we just completed the football season in the fall. What was that like to be an intern with the football program?
It was absolutely amazing. I can't name another experience that tops that. The coaching staff was amazing to me. The players and I got so close, and it felt like being another part of a family. Like women's lacrosse is so tight and we are a family, but then I had the guys on the side, which it was just so much fun to be around, and they're a huge group of dudes. So it was just fun to be around, have the energy of them. It's a lot of work, and sometimes it got a little scary, but at the end I grew a lot as a person and professionally. So it was really exciting.
Outstanding. Congrats on completing that. Looking forward to what's next, Lex. Great work, and appreciate all you do for Brevard College Tornado Athletics from the photography standpoint. It's a big positive around here. Xan Hill, let us know what you're up to academically.
So I'm a Borg major as well. I'm a sophomore, obviously. And then I'm looking at doing a few minors. Don't know yet. Just trying to finish all those business requirements, especially with the new changes of professors. So learning their way of teaching, because we had 2 new professors come in. So trying to figure that out.
Lex, we mentioned community service when we were talking to Coach Tahmassebi, always a big part of the women's lacrosse program. Tell us maybe, your favorite memory of some community service event that you've done with the Tornadoes over your years.
Roosterhead's always a great time. Jackie and her husband are just such great people to us. I think my favorite is when we went and fed little baby sheep, bottle fed them. That was by far my favorite. Or there was little puppies before their eyes had even opened, and we went to see them. It's always a great time at Roosterhead, but anytime there's a baby animal involved, it's top 10.
It makes a lot of sense. Xan, any memory pop into your consciousness when you think about these community service activities?
So my first ever community service was at Roosterhead, and I picked up a goat and it pooped on me. So that's the memory that holds in my head, because that was the first time doing anything with the team, and that happened. So it will always stick with me.
Classic. A goat just being a goat, it sounds like. Very good. Well, can't wait to see you in action. It all begins this Saturday, a scrimmage for fans to be able to come on out to Islamel Family Field, 11 a.m. Saturday, women's lacrosse action. Before we let you go, Lex, shout outs or thank yous?
I think just really anyone that's here to support me. I'm going through huge changes professionally, lacrosse wise, everything. So thank you for everyone who's got my back. My parents, obviously, and Ashton Cashwell, because I'm pretty sure she would kill me if I didn't.
Very good. Xan Hill, shout outs?
So my mom and dad, obviously, they've been through a lot with me, especially this past year. So just grateful that my dad can even be here. Parker Moore, Ashton, Emily, just the draw dogs. And then my high school coach has really reached out to me a lot during the fall. So obviously her.
Very good. Well, it's been great to have each of you on the show. Lex MacLauchlin Jr., now we can say defender along with goalkeeper for the Brevard College women's lacrosse team, and Xan Hill, a midfielder and attacker, sophomore Xan Hill. And you'll see her on those draw controls as well, part of that draw dog club with the Brevard College women's lacrosse program. Lex, Xan, great job this evening. Can't wait to see you in action. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Phil.
Phil.
All right, there they go. And that wraps up another edition of Tornado Talk. Glad you're able to join us wherever you may be tuning in from. Looking forward to seeing you at an upcoming Brevard College Tornado athletic event. It'll begin tomorrow, action this week with women's basketball, 6:30 p.m. at the Bosch versus Pfeiffer. Thanks to all those who made tonight's show possible. Sports Information Director Joseph Marvin, our producer, and then also support behind the scenes from Cassidy Hutto and Emily Denega. That'll do it for this edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes!